ourselves for our practice while we're waiting for all our friends to join us. So what you need for your yin practice is perhaps a blanket for either cushioning your head or your seat or your knees. Sometimes it helps to have it at the back as we're in a reclined position. You might want to line our mats. Have available cushions or pillows or your bolster or your adaptation of a bolster, because we will be doing a heart opening as well today. So we'll want to lie on something that will help us recline at a sort of an angle, supported angle. So those are your props. I always have available my eye pillow so that I can really drown out the external environment and come into silence and stillness without sensory interruption. So as it's 6 o'clock. So coming onto your mat, let's start in a comfortable Sukhasana seat. Hands can be face up on your palms on your knees. You can have your finger and thumb touching if you wish, in Gyan Mudra. Let's take the first moment or two of our practice just to come into a sense of stillness and calm. I invite you to take an inward gaze, soften your focus, perhaps you gaze down towards the earth, and begin to connect with the breath, the bridge between your mind and body. The yin practice is a practice of coming into a shape, a pose, and then holding that in stillness for a period of time. It encourages connection with your meditative practice. So using your breath throughout your practice will help to maintain focus, concentration, sense of present moment awareness. Notice the pattern of your breath as you arrive here on your mat. The natural rhythm of the inhale and the exhale. The rise and fall of your breath. The in and out, the ebb and flow. This expansion and contraction that echoes the pulsation of the universe. The flow of the rivers, the cycle of nature. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. As you inhale, I invite you to count 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold the breath in 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale and release the breath 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out 4, 3, 2, 1. Equal parts breath. Inhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath in 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing the breath 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath out 4, 3, 2, 1. 16-second breath. One more round. And if you feel that the count of 4 feels artificially too long, you can count for 3, count for 2. Even perhaps you choose to count for longer, 5 or 6, as you build in your practice. So wherever you are in your cycle of breath, counting equal parts in, holding in, out, holding out. And when you've completed your round, take a full breath in through your nose, exhale out through open mouth to release and wash out the breath. Bring your hands together at your heart center, opening our practice by chanting Om, the primordial vibration of the universe. Inhale fully, exhale completely. Inhale to prepare. Om. 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 Hands to your eyebrow center. Namaste and welcome. So today's practice is to connect with, we've been working with the Meridian series. So today we're going to be working with the pericardium and the triple burner. It's also known as the San Juan Meridian, triple warmer, triple heater. And so I'll guide you through this practice. Remember to have available all the props that you need, your cushions, your blankets, your bolster or bolster equivalent. As we move through, we want to make sure that everything is accessible so that we can move from one pose to another with minimum disruption, distraction, interruption. We want to maintain a sense of calm in our nervous system throughout our practice. So we'll start by some body tapping, emotional freedom technique it's called. So we'll start with the karate chop. So this is just on the outside of your hand here at the dorsal side. So taking 4 fingers and just tapping on the outside there. So our meridians, we have 12 pairs of meridians and 2 single meridians that run through our system. We have other meridians too, but these are the ones that we focus on during our yin practice. And these are channels or pathways of energy. So as you know, in Hatha yoga, we refer to energy as pran. In yin, I like to refer to it in the traditional Chinese medicine description as qi. So as you're tapping, and the purpose of tapping is to interrupt those repetitive negative thought patterns that we have and to replace them with more positive affirmations or intentions so that we break habits and create new pathways, patterns, relationships. So now moving from the karate chop, let's go to the eyebrow. So let's go to the inside of the eyebrow here, just where your eyebrow meets your nose. And now I'm using my peace fingers, middle and index. And perhaps you invite in the loving kindness meditation here, the metta practice. And perhaps you say, may I be filled with loving kindness as you tap. You can say it out loud or silently to yourself. Let's move to the side of our eye. So just tapping here on the side, and perhaps here we say, may I be safe and protected from harm. May I be safe and protected from harm. May I be safe and protected from harm. Let's move to the underside of our eye. So it's just that little bony bit around the eye socket underneath your eye. And again, here you can connect with an intention, loving kindness. May I be safe. May I be protected from inner and outer harm. Now let's move to our upper lip. So just underneath our nostrils and our upper lip, where we have those 2 little grooves. And perhaps here you say, may I be strong and healthy in mind and body. May I be strong and healthy in mind and body. From here, let's move to underneath our lower lip. So just above your chin, again in that little hollow. And here I offer, may I be happy and live my life with ease and joy. May I be happy and live my life with ease and joy. From here, we're going to move to our collarbone. So here you can do one side or both sides. So I'm going to bring in all 4 fingers and I'm going to tap just underneath my collarbone here. And I'm going to repeat my loving kindness meditation. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. Moving to the heart space, so here at the sternum. May I be safe from harm, both inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected from harm, both inner and outer. And now I'm going to move to underneath my armpit. So it doesn't matter which way around you're going because there's meridian channels running parallels with a mirror image on both sides of our body. So you choose one side or the other. So here we're just on so I'm actually just below my armpit. So I'm kind of where, if you wear bras, then you'll know that bit where your bra strap is, or sort of parallel to your pectoral muscle here. May I be strong and healthy in body and mind. May I be strong and healthy in body and mind. And now we're going to move to the inside of our elbow. So we're just walking along these channels. So now I'm going to introduce you to the journey of the pericardium, the heart protector meridian. And that runs from just outside of our nipple all the way along the inside of the arm. So we're just going to touch different points along the inside of our arm. Because it's the yin pair, the yin aspect of the pair, we work along the inner side of our body, the sort of shadow side, the cooling side, the side that's often hidden from view. So let's move all the way down our inner arm, tapping as we go down towards our wrist. And perhaps here you might take a few minutes and tap up and down. So along here, the acupressure points along this inner arm, there's several in sequence here. And it said that these are the portal to the heart space. And they stimulate and activate a sense of joy, laughter, happiness. So spend some time here on the inner wrist and this part of your lower arm. And just again to connect with the pericardium meridian, go to your palm, center of your palm here. And this is where the pericardium point 8 is. And now we're going to work all the way to our ring finger. So just along the inside of the ring finger. So that pretty much from here outside of our nipple, along the inside of our arm, all the way down to the ring finger is part of the pericardium meridian. It also does travel to our outer eye. To our, that's the triple burn. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Now let's go to the other side. So now we're going to work on our triple burner with the Sanjiao meridian. Now that works along the outside of our body because it's a yang meridian. So let's start at our ring finger. So we're going to start at our ring finger, on the outside of our ring finger. And we'll travel along the outer edge of our palm, so kind of fairly close to our karate chop. And then all the way along the arm, the outside of the arm. And then let's stop around the elbow, the side or the back of the elbow for a few moments. You don't need to be precise as long as you're applying acupressure in that area. We're not acupuncturists or specialists or experts, and we're not sticking in needle, thankfully, so we're going to just tap around in the area in particular so that we don't get too obsessed with the detail of, oh, I'm not sure if that's the right spot. Let's work all the way along our outer arm to our shoulder. And then from here, up the side of your neck, round the back of your ear, and you'll hear me tapping because I'm near my mic now, and then to the outside of our eye. And that's pretty much the root of the Sanjiao meridian. One more there, and then let's release our tapping. Take our arms overhead. Let's stretch up through to our fingertips, spreading our arms wide. And now as we exhale, let's bring our hands to the earth. Place your left fingertips on the earth, and I want you to take your right hand behind your back and to the inside of your opposite elbow. So you can see that my right hand is on the inside of my left arm here. Now, because we're working with these upper body meridian here for the moment, you can do some tapping here, or you can just hold on and apply some pressure. Keep squeezing your right arm across your body so that you feel a sense of opening in your shoulder here. The pericardium and San Joao meridian are said to be the guard and the protector and regulator pair of the body. They sort of work on all channels of our body, especially the San Joao meridian. So the pericardium protects our heart, protects us from emotional trauma, strong, powerful, overwhelming emotions. It helps to regulate those. And the triple, so you might notice that I'm calling the San Joao by 3 different names: triple heater, triple warmer, triple burner. It's referred to in those 3 phrases by different yogis or traditional Chinese medicine specialists. One more breath here. Now let's go the other way. So let's bring your right fingertips to the earth and cross our left arm behind our back to take hold of the inside of our right elbow. And again, draw your left arm across your body so that you're really opening across that shoulder there. The San Joao meridian has 3 parts to it: the upper, middle, and lower. And these 3 burning spaces help to regulate the energy, the chi that we receive into our body. We then assimilate and digest that energy and help and use that energy to transform. And then we eliminate energy or the byproducts that we no longer need or that no longer serve us. So there's these 3 parts, and that's why it's called the triple burner, these 3 burning spaces. 3 more breaths here. Releasing your elbow. Let's walk your hand round. So you might feel a little stretch on the inside of your upper arms in particular. Now we're going to cross our heart here. So check how your legs are feeling. If you're feeling like you're losing a little bit of feeling in your legs because you've been sitting for a while, maybe you recross the other way. And let's take our arms and cross them at the elbow in front of us. So it's almost like crossing our heart. And then take your hands to your knees. And then this kind of folds forward. So you sort of fold forward here. So again, we're crossing the heart. We're working with those meridian channels that are running, particularly in our upper body here. But we are connecting with the whole body energy through the San Joao meridian. 1 full breath here. And then what I'm going to invite you to do, and this depends entirely on how much space you have here, we're going to begin to fold forward, bringing our crown down towards the earth. If you wish, this might be a place where you choose to place a pillow or a bolster in front of you, so that as you fold forward, you can rest your crown or your eyebrow center on the pillow or bolster. Yogi's choice. You might want to play around with the height so you can make it taller by layering cushions on top of it. And as you do this, have a sense of the opening at the back of your heart space here. By working with the heart protector or spirit protector, as the pericardium is also known, or the king's bodyguard, we're helping to connect with our sense of trust in relationships, flourish in those intimate relationships that we have, filter those difficult and strong emotions that sometimes feel as if they take our breath away. This is a powerful gateway portal. It maintains our emotional temperature. Three more breaths here. Then as you inhale, begin to uncurl your spine one vertebrae at a time, rising with your heart, your eyebrow center, your crown, and then uncross your arms. We're going to go the other way. And then first we recross our legs, swap the cross of our legs around. And then let's cross our arms. So crossing at the elbow and then taking hold of your knees or your thighs. Now this side might feel strange. Often we sometimes have less space on one side compared to the other, depending on whether we're left or right-handed, whether we're more dominant in one aspect of our body. So settle here for a moment. And then as you exhale, we're going to begin to fold forward, bringing our crown down towards the earth. Again, you might have your bolster, your blanket, or a cushion. Try and maintain a connection between your sit bones and the earth. So you might lean forward so much that your sit bones lift. So do ground down through your sit bones. In which case, if your crown is a little bit higher from the earth, then that is where it is. You can always play around with the cushion. So there's always options for us to bring the earth towards us. As we move towards the earth can also move towards us, and we meet in the middle. Three more breaths here. The king's bodyguard, the pericardium, has a powerful influence on our mental and emotional states. It helps to create feelings of joy and pleasure. It also helps to regulate and contain the more negative emotions and feelings that we have. One more breath here. And as you inhale, begin to uncurl your spine, rising up one vertebrae at a time until your heart, your eyebrow center, your crown lifts. Let's take a moment here. We're going to fold forward, coming into threading the needle variation. So if you need a blanket, reach for your blanket to pad your knees. So we're going to come into child's pose. Perhaps you take your knees as wide as the mat, or maybe they are aligned much closer together, yogi's choice. And then let's bring your eyebrow center to the earth, or perhaps onto a cushion or your bolster or pillow. Just take a moment here in child's pose. And as you're here in Child's Pose, drop down into your heart space. Connect with your loving kindness mantra. Perhaps you connect with one of those phrases, I am filled with loving kindness. I am safe and protected from inner and outer harm. I am healthy and well in body and mind and spirit. I am happy and I live my life from a place of ease and joy. Any of those loving kindness mantras for yourself. And then as you move through your practice, I invite you to offer that loving kindness to your friends and family, to members in your community, to people around the globe. And perhaps to those who need more guidance and love in their lives. One more breath here. And then inhale to lift your gaze. Let's come up onto our knees. Make sure you're padded if where you need. And reach up with your right fingertips to the sky. And as you exhale, thread your right arm behind your left arm and bring your shoulder and ear to the mat. Now you can have your hips slightly higher, or you can bring your hips closer to your heels. Yogi's choice, depending on how much space you have. So as we talk about in our yoga classes, we think about what we're trying to stimulate, activate, engage. So where we're working here with our arms, our heart space, pericardium, and we're working with the Sanshua. So it doesn't really matter what we're doing with our hips here today, what we're doing with our upper bodies where we're focused. Your left hand can reach forward and then just soften through your upper body, your arms, your shoulders, your head, neck. Breathe into the back of your heart. So with the Sanshua Meridian, we're working with 3 burning spaces. The upper or the top layer, which is working on the lung, the heart, the pericardium. The middle, which is working with the spleen, stomach, the small and large intestine. And the lower, which is the liver, gallbladder, kidney, and bladder. And each of those organs or meridians in those 3 spaces represents different movements or actions with the energy, with the chi. Let's take one breath here. And as you inhale, begin to walk your left hand back towards your body and rise up. And then coming back into your neutral table, draw your left fingertips up to the sky. And then exhaling, thread your left arm behind your right arm, bringing your left shoulder and ear to the mat. And here again, you can have your hips fairly high, or you can sink them down towards your heels. And then walk that right hand along the mat in front of you to create some extension. And then when you've done that, when you've come into your pose, soften. Melt into your pose. That sense of deep relaxation will begin to work at the deeper connective tissues. So these 3 areas of the triple burner Sanshua. They're also said to correlate with heaven, earth, water. The upper or the top part is the intake, what we receive, what we invite in, what we draw in. The middle is how we assimilate, digest, process, transform. The lower is that which we release, let go, surrender, eliminate. And you can see that parallel with the meridians and the organs that they're associated with. One more breath here. Let's walk your hand, your right hand back towards your body, lifting back up, coming into table just for a moment. Now from here, we're going to come into our Virasana, hero pose, or Thunderbolt pose, or half or straddle. So you'll know this as straddle. Now this is where I'm going to invite you to reach for your bolsters, your cushions, your pillows, so that we can create a structure behind us. Now say if you have your bolster, you want quite a high structure, and what we want to do is we want to try and angle it. So I know you probably don't have bricks at home. This is where I invite you to reach for your cushions. So let's take some cushions and place them at the top of our bolster. And then place our bolster there, and then see, are you happy with that? Or do you need a little bit more height? Because you're going to recline onto your bolster. So you want to make sure that you have as much height as you need. There you go. You can create a really wonderful structure. And then just check that it feels stable enough. So you might have to play around with it here. I'm also going to place a blanket there as a sort of a pillow on my head. And that's my structure. So create your structure here. Now we're coming into a saddle, sorry, not straddle, we're not going to do dragonfly today. So saddle, so you have your knees folded here. Check how your knees feel. If you need to place a folded blanket, roll up a blanket and place it at the back of your knees. If you need to roll up a blanket and place it on the inside of your ankles, do that. Find what feels comfortable for you. If this in its entirety feels too intense, then we'll do half variation. And so I'll bring my left leg out. And you might want to sit on something. I'm going to, oops, there goes my structure. So you have to move fairly quickly because your body weight will hold it down. So I'm going to keep my leg folded and one leg with my foot on the earth. And my lower back is at the bottom of my bolster here. And then gradually making sure I'm secure here, I'm going to recline my upper back onto my bolster here. So one leg is folded under, the other leg is has my knee bent, my foot flat on the earth. If this feels more sustainable for you. If this still feels too intense for you, then I am going to offer you this variation where you keep your feet flat on the earth. We're opening up through our heart space here. We are beginning to move into our lower body here. And so we're kind of working here around our middle organs. So what you do with your legs is just for show. It's a little bit of extra fanciness just to get involved. So feel comfortable with where you are. So you'll be in various places here. You'll either have both legs folded under, or you'll have one leg folded under with your other foot mounted on the earth. So come into your variation, play around. We're going to be here for a few moments. And I will let you know when to alternate if you have one leg folded underneath you. Make sure that you feel secure on your bolster. If you have a low footstool, you could always place your bolster at an angle against your footstool as well. This is a good opportunity to reach for your eye pillow, to cover your eyes. So here your heart space is open. We're encouraging the flow of chi to move from our upper, from the lungs, the heart space, the pericardium, down towards the middle. So here, our stomach, spleen, small and large intestine. And by now, if you've been practicing yoga with me for some time, you'll know that yoga helps to flow, helps to move around energy, the vital life force, prana or chi. And the purpose of this energy is to help clear channels, help to bring balance to different aspects and qualities. And the ultimate goal is to have a sense of union and harmony within yourself, union and harmony with others, but also to liberate yourself from the physical, from the pain and suffering of this physical, material, earthly realm. And it's through this flow of energy that we can clear and rise into the more ethereal. One more breath here. Let's swap legs. If you have one leg folded, you might come up and then transition very carefully from one leg to the other. Move with care here. And now I'm going to invite you, whichever variation with your legs you have. So you might have both of your feet planted on the earth with your knees bent. In which case, I'm going to ask you to extend your legs long and take your arms overhead and take hold of one wrist with the other hand. If you're in saddle, again, I'm going to ask you to reach overhead and take hold of one wrist with the other hand. This will bring in a different sensation. Again, you might feel quite vulnerable here. But know that your heart protector, the pericardium that we're working with, is guarding you. And the Sanjiao or the triple burner is helping you to regulate any of those emotions or feelings that are arising now. This begins to feel intense on your lower back. If you're in the full saddle variation, remember that at any point you can release your legs from underneath you. If you begin to get pins and needles in your arms, by having your hands overhead, and bring your arms down alongside your body, perhaps slightly away. So we want to have some sensation in our practice. What we don't want to experience is pain or discomfort. We would welcome challenge and strong sensation. We want it to be just on the right side of our edge. Just take 3 more full breaths here. We're going to move ever so slowly with care, being mindful that we are on perhaps a wobbly bolster like me. So placing your hands on the earth, you either roll over onto one side if you have your legs extended or knees bent, or if you have your legs folded underneath, you begin to straighten up by lifting your back off the bolster and then releasing one leg, then the other leg. Just take a moment here. Place your hands either side of your hips. And let's windshield our knees one way, then the other. And then we're ready to transition into the next part, that burning space. We've been moving from the upper to the middle, and now we're going to be in the middle, moving our way down towards the lower part of that triple burner space. So let's remove our bolster. From here, we're going to come onto our abdomen. So this is where you might want to pad your mat so that you have a sense of softness. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my mat, sort of my blanket, halfway on my mat. I'm coming into a the squat, the yogi, the frog pose, half frog pose. So let's come on to our abdomens here. And then take our left leg out to the side so that our knee is parallel to our hip and our ankle is aligned with our knee. It's creating the letter H. We're going to stay on our forearms so you can interlace your fingers. Now check how this feels. If this does not feel comfortable for your lower back, then you can take your elbows out and place your eyebrow center on top of your hands. And that reduces the sensation in your lower back here. So you can see now here we are in the middle and beginning to work our way down towards these lower meridians around the kidney, the gallbladder. If you wish, you can also use your cushions and place them underneath your heart space so that you can support your heart space with your bolster or your cushions or pillows so that they are taking the weight of your upper body here as well. Now, as we move towards the lower part of the triple burner, the water part, so it's connected with the gallbladder, the kidney, the bladder, the liver, to eliminate. So this is where we're eliminating and releasing and letting go. It has also been said that this part of the triple burner connects to fascia. Fascia is that sort of very viscose layer, like almost like an elastic, transparent elastic or cling film that covers our muscles, our ligaments. It's like the skin on a chicken breast. if you're a meat eater. I'm a vegetarian, but I do remember what that looks like and feels like, that very thin sort of viscosy layer that covers the muscles. This crystalline sort of collagen is said to be bound water. So water that's knitted together, connected. And when we talk about yin hydrating connective tissue, it's this layer of fascia that we are working with, hydrating, nourishing, making it sort of more fluid, more supple. So that sense of stiffness in the morning when we wake up, that's our fascia that's been dehydrating overnight. And as we begin to stretch and move during the day, we hydrate and bring suppleness, movement back to that fascia. Let's go the other way now. So take a breath in and then extend your left leg long behind you. And let's bring our right knee out to the side. And again, have your knee aligned with your hip, your ankle aligned with your knee. And then decide whether you want to be supported underneath your heart space with your bolster or your cushions, whether you want to be resting on your forearms, or whether you want to come down and rest your eyebrow center on your hands. Yogi's choice. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. So if this guard and regulator meridian pair are out of balance, we might feel anxious. We might have a sense of mental or emotional disturbances, a sense of kind of instability. Perhaps we might have discordant relationships. We might find it difficult to have a sense of connection. We might feel hopeless. All these kind of feelings of despair and loneliness, which many of us have experienced over the last few months. So by working with these pair meridians, we're finding resilience, finding protective layer. We're resetting our emotions, our emotional body, our mental body, as well as our physical body, so that we can eliminate these negative emotions, which have a purpose, but we don't need them around for too long. Once they've served their purpose, made us more aware, or helped us identify things that we need to work on, we can then move from those emotions to a place of better understanding. Let's have 3 more breaths here. And then gradually bringing that leg alongside your body. From here, we're going to move into angel wing. So I'm going to ask you to take out your left arm out away from your body so that it's coming out at a right angle. And then roll onto your left hip. Place your right hand on the earth in front of your heart space so that your right hand is acting to stabilize you. Bend into your knees. See how this feels for you. Now, if you're happy here, you can extend your legs long. You might even turn more onto your hip and left shoulder by placing your right foot on the earth behind your left leg. You will notice how the intensity changes. You're feeling this in your angel wings. Your lower body is engaged here as well. To ease away from the sensation, bring your heart space closer to the mat. Perhaps you place your forearm on the mat. I'll just turn around so you can see how that looks. So the more you bend into your knees, and by bringing your heart space on the earth and your forearm on the earth, it reduces the tense sensation in your shoulder. When you come onto your hand and extend your legs and roll more onto your hip and open across your heart, that increases the sensation in your shoulder, as displacing the sole of your foot behind your leg. So be in the variation that feels most sustainable for you. We're only here for another 3 breaths because this is a challenging pose. As you exhale, begin to roll onto your front. Take a moment there. Slowly folding your left arm. And maybe you take your elbows out to the outer edges of your mat. Your hands come together underneath your eyebrow center. Maybe you shake your hips from left to right just to release your lower back. And now let's go the other way. So take your right arm out away from your body. Place your left hand on the earth next to your shoulder or your parallel to your heart space. And then begin to roll onto your right hip. Bend into your knees. So having your left forearm closer to the earth is the most supportive variation with your knees deeply bent. If you place your palm on the earth and lift your elbow to act like a stabilizer, move that way a little bit, and then you can turn onto your hips. I'm struggling to find space there because I'm right by the wall. And then you can extend your legs long, or you can place the sole of your left foot on the earth behind your right leg. And this is going to feel fairly intense in your right shoulder and right arm. So remember, the more you roll towards your heart, the less intense the feeling in your shoulder. Remember, if you've been working with your loving kindness affirmation here, you might be offering it to your community, to the global community. So know that here in this moment where you're having some very strong sensations in your angel wing pose, offering loving kindness will help you channel your thinking, your feelings, your emotions into positive action for others. So rather than turning inward and being caught up in the strong sensation, you're turning outward and offering benefit of that sensation. 3 more breaths here. As you exhale, begin to roll onto your front. And then gradually and gently fold in your right arm, taking your elbows out. Hands near your crown, your eyebrow center. And then from here, we're going to do a very easy roll onto our backs. Create a little space for myself. Taking your hips, so you're in the middle of your mat, take your hips over to the left. And then walk your feet to the bottom right-hand corner of your mat. And walk your hands over to the top right-hand corner of your mat to create this banana shape, this supine crescent shape. This is all called, this pose is also called banana asana, which I always find hilarious. I think it's because it's shaped like a banana. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. If that feels too intense, you can always take hold of your elbows. Opposite elbows. And to add even more intensity, should you choose, you can cross your left leg over your right ankle. And you'll feel a lateral stretch on the left side. So you can see now here how this is a whole body meridian practice. This pose engages all of the meridians, honoring that San Joao meridian, which is working with those 3 spaces. One more breath here. And then if you have your ankles crossed, uncross your ankles, release your arms, and then gradually return your head back to center. And shuffle your feet down. And let's slide our hips and pelvis all the way across our mat so that they come to the right side of our mat. Walk our feet to the bottom left-hand corner of our mat and take our arms, our hands over to the top left-hand corner of the mat. Again, take hold of opposite elbows or take hold of your right wrist. Create this crescent shape, this banana shape here on the earth. And again, I invite you to cross your right ankle over your left leg if you choose. Breathe here. Maybe now you offer your loving kindness to those who need it. And perhaps if you invite in more empathy and compassion. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be safe and protected from harm. May they be healthy and well in body and mind. May they be filled with happiness and live life from a place of ease and joy. One more breath here. Then inhaling, let's walk our arms, releasing the wrists, walk our hips and pelvis to the middle by sliding them across. Open your legs, your arms. You have the option of placing a bolster underneath your knees here. Should you choose, we'll be here for Shavasana. And we're going to conclude our practice here in Shavasana. So yogis, stay where you are. Take at least 5 minutes here, closing your eyes. Maybe you place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your lower abdomen. And I'm going to close the practice with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti as you rest here in Shavasana. I want you to make the most of this moment. And when you are ready to rise, take a moment in seated Sukhasana before rising from your mat. And keep connecting with this metta meditation of loving kindness. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.